Ben, when you look at the last game, you can't always rely on your offense, and this is a team that has a lot of balanced scoring, put up 100 in games, but that defensive performance is something that probably carry over during the Big Ten season.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I was really proud of the way we came out. That's a human nature game in terms of, like I said earlier, the crowd wasn't going to be what it was, the name on the jersey after a tough loss. There's a lot of excuses to come out flat or just with not energy, and our guys didn't. And so I give them a ton of credit, and I think it just shows we're in the right direction in so many ways. And then to be able to win with your defense, again, I love to make shots. I hope we make shots. I know we have good shooters. There'll be games where we are going to be able to play and win with our offense. But at the end of the day, to be really good, you have to play through your defense. And we proved that. And we proved that getting 11 kills is a phenomenal number. I mean, that's like through the roof. Doing what we did defending the three, doing what we did down the stretch to increase the lead, all that with the team early in the year that is trying to figure out how to win is great for our guys to see and to prove. And now we gotta continue to build on that.
What's the difference between the deflections and the kills?
So deflection is just like a simple tip, right? A kill is like 3 consecutive stops in a row. But to do that 11 times, I don't care who you're playing, that's hard to do. And so for our guys to be able to do that and not get – some teams, if their offense isn't flowing or you're not making shots, or if a guy was hot the previous game and not this game, it's like that impacts your defense. So I love to see that it didn't. And our guys, even though we weren't making shots, I didn't think it affected us defensively. And that's a sign of a team that's really starting to figure it out.
Ben, what did you feel like were the defensive points of emphasis coming out of Missouri? And obviously you like the defensive effort. Were those kind of – did they check the boxes you needed to?
Yeah. I think that, and I liked us versus Missouri. I told our guys, 32 minutes was dang good basketball, and I think the one thing with Missouri is, and I get it, everybody wants to look at the offensive side of the ball when they really cranked up their pressure and what we did or didn't do. If you get one of those stops in Missouri game, that's just as good as scoring it or converting offensively, you know what I mean? And so what I thought we did better is when we needed to get a stop, we found a way to get a stop, and then you extend the lead. I think we went on a 10-1 run. That's what I was looking for, is the response after the Missouri of, okay, offense, that is what it is. But, if you get one more stop, if you have one clean defensive possession, if you don't foul, if you contain the dribble, if you get one more rebound off your first shot defense, that changes the game. And we were able to learn from that and do that last game.
Go ahead.
I've heard a little bit about the Winners Week that you guys had in the offseason. Walk me through that and how much different that was than previous offseason.
Yeah, it's the first one we've been able to do because we've had enough bodies to have teams and do something like that. So I was anxious to do it, and then I think we needed it because, again, this is the first time I felt like, and this is nothing against the last 2 years, but felt like we have a really competitive group that needs to be pushed in that direction because I think it would play out through the course of the year. And so really what it was I looked at our roster and I'm like, okay, I like our depth, I like our talent, I like our pieces. We have, guys that have experience from different places, but if you look at how many guys have really won, and to me, especially as you're building it throughout the year, finding ways to get these guys to understand that they're winners and to develop that mindset. And that's why I talked about the academic piece in the spring being so important to me because it translates. And especially when you haven't won, you got to find wins every day in everything you do to build that self-confidence and to view yourself as a winner. And if you do that can win you a game or two, And so we tried to do some stuff for the week where it was all about winning, finding ways to win a drill, win a competitive team thing, win by getting up super early in the morning and being on time, and then winning by, okay, you do something in the morning, we still have practice in the afternoon where you still got to show up and win that. You still got study hall, you got to show up and win that. There's no excuses for the whole week. And prove to them that, winning is a habit. But we have to find ways to win each day because they don't have anything to fall back on. You know what I mean? And that again, that is a hard thing. It's You look at Missouri in the game. Part of it is we're still trying to find ways to win and confidence to win, and that's how you see something like that. That's a part of something like that, and why that happened is because an experienced team that's used to winning, those guys have complete confidence that they're going to find a way. Like, they don't know, but they're going to find a way to win, or they're going to make that one play. We're still going through that. So I just wanted to hit them with something early to challenge them, but to also give them something to fall back on that we can reference as the year goes on to say, no, you guys are winners. Look what we've done. And, like, all these things add up.
And there was a big kind of cardio component to it?
Yeah, because it's the mental toughness piece, right? It's understanding that, hey, we want to get in shape, but you've got to be able to do stuff when you don't think you can, right? When your body's tired or you don't think you have any extra in you at all, can you still push through and find a way to win and be successful? And so it's that mental game of building that mental toughness, physical toughness, but it all comprises the winning. And then the other piece was, it's not about each individual guy. So it's more about, like, the team. And it's like, okay, it's great if you make a drill or you make a sprint, but if the guy on your team doesn't, well, then we all fail, because that's how team basketball is. So trying to build that individual toughness, but then also know it's not just about you. Like, you got to bring that guy in your group that's struggling. You got to pick him up. So we did stuff where the highest score didn't matter. It was all about the lowest score. And so that you put a little bit of pressure on the guy that has the lowest score, but then you also, it's a team thing where those other guys are trying to fight for that guy to push for that extra rep of whatever it is.
What month is that in?
That was September, I believe. Yeah, September, because we did it right before the week right before official practice. I believe I'm right.
Dawson, just one more.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Dawson credited that as kind of the reason that he feels like he's in the best shape.
Oh, really?
Of his
I didn't know that.
Have you seen that? Kind of
Yeah.
in his
Yeah. Well, then now it's working. No, I'm telling you, like, it's I just want everybody to understand, like, these kids, like, are so it's so cool to work with them, because that age of, like, 18 to 22, 23, you can be so impactful with just stuff like that. And I'm not saying that, like, I'm impactful, but my point is, like, just something little as that is now giving him confidence, where now in his mind he thinks he's in the best shape of his life, but he really is. But that week proved to him that, through tough stuff you have more, but then also, like, you made it through, so it tells you you're damn good, right? Or you're in good shape, and that confidence helps. And again, I told him in one of the timeouts, like, it's good, that week's going to pay off at some point this year, because we're going to be able to reference it back. And I keep going back to that, because when you haven't had success on a big level at this stage, it's hard. Like, I can try to push confidence in you all I want, but you have to have a reference point that you can go back to and say, you know what, he's right? Whether that's a high school state championship, whether that's winning at your previous school. And we have one guy at this level that has had that. And so to give them that, so that's good. I'm glad he feels that. But because he is, I mean, he's worked his butt off, and again, it's also helped when you have guys healthy. We're able to have competitive practices, so now you can go up and down, and that helps everybody. Whereas before, you have controlled practices, you do stuff in half court, it's not competitive. Like, that cardio stuff does hurt, but now we've been able to compete and go 5-on-5 and do trips, and that's a good thing.
I think he mentioned that playing at a faster pace, the winter's week, and the condition that they did prepared him to play that way.
Yeah.
This team.
Yeah, no, it did. Again, it
You envisioned that, like, okay, we're going to get in the best shape with this winter's week, and then we can play faster?
Yeah, because it's all goes back to habits, right? And everybody talks about playing fast, but it's the discipline to play fast. Like, Pharrell, Dawson, Parker, Jack, those guys got to know, you got to sprint the court 10 times knowing you might get a layup twice, but you have the discipline to do it the other 8, right? Or knowing that, like, you running the floor will open it up for everybody else, even if it doesn't benefit you, and that selflessness of doing that. But it's the discipline that we did in Winter's Week of, like, regardless of circumstance, you got to do your job. You got to run the floor. You got to push the pace. But then to give them the confidence of, hey, when you're in really good shape, you know what you want to do as a player? You want to run, because you're in good shape. You know what I mean? Like, when you're not in good shape, the last thing you want to do is constantly have to play fast, because you're fatigued. So it's giving them that confidence of, like, fellas, you feel good and you want to run because your body's in shape. And part of that started at Winter's Week.
post game?
Man,
That was game 1, right?
Oh yeah. I had that back pocket for a while. No, I've tried to come up with something, every year, and that one was, it was kind of along the lines of Winners Week a little bit, but and that's awarded to. It's not necessarily the guy that's had the leading stat line. It's to who our staff feels like for that game kind of embodied being a warrior, whatever that meant. And I just think it's good. I think I want everybody to feel like to win, it takes everybody. And it takes everybody doing the little stuff at a high level. And just I want to acknowledge guys that, like, it's not just solely about Dawson, who might get all the highlights, or Pharrell or Braden or whoever. That's important, but every single person in our program can impact winning, and it shows that, like, we care about the details here. So kind of like, I don't know if you guys watch wrestling, but the Ultimate Warrior, that was my guy. Yeah, that was my guy. So Ultimate Warrior, and just kind of a team bonded things. The guys have kind of dug it a little bit. So
see, instead of using Denzel for your commitment, you should use the
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, no, but the only thing is, like, I don't have to reference Denzel because everybody knows who he is. Yeah. Like, if I said the Ultimate Warrior, our guys would have zero clue, and then you got to do the breakdown video and explain and all that.
What's the scout on Arkansas Pine Bluff?
They are, it's a challenging game from the standpoint of just personnel. The last game, they legitimately went 5 guards. And so you you want that in the preseason because you want to challenge your defense to have to defend the ball one-on-one. The hard part is it's not realistic for Dawson, Pharrell, Parker, for when we play against teams that have traditional bigs. So it's kind of that give and take. But I like it because they're gonna force us to defend one-on-one, which we have to continue to get better at. They're aggressive downhill team. They've really upgraded their roster from last year. They've got a couple transfers, one from Bethune who's really good. I mean, they're shooting it at like 42% from 3. So I mean, it's a tough group. They're super competitive, but it's not the team we played last year. They definitely elevated their talent level, and so they're going to definitely challenge us off the bounce. We got to defend one-on-one. We got to own the paint more than ever. We got to impose our will, even if there's funky lineups, and we got to defend without fouling because they're aggressive. They get downhill.
It seems like every team that you'll play, especially the non-conference schedule, they have like these veteran guards. Some of them have been around forever, like 5th year. How do you handle that with the guards that you have? You have some experience, but then you also have the Camerons and like Bradens who are young, but they're in there a lot playing against veteran guards. Like the Missouri game, I think in the second half, you saw that, whereas I think Caleb Grill or some of those guys were just, they kind of know what to do and they just did it. And some of your younger guards are learning that.
Yeah, I want that. Because I'm always thinking, big picture, right? And sometimes you gotta be thrown to the fire, and you gotta be forced to respond, and those guys want that. Like Cam wants that challenge, Braden wants that challenge, Josh wants that challenge, Mike, who's kind of been an offensive guy, is really since the summer embraced and trying to flip the narrative where now he can defend. Elijah wants that. There's a hunger for it, and so I'm glad. I want our guys to be challenged. I want our perimeter to have to go through that because it's only going to make us better. And you hope in your non-conference that's what the teams can bring, is with the portal and with COVID that you're going against experienced teams because we want to win and be competitive in our league. And so to put our guys through that early, I'm hoping it continues. All right. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.